Hello and welcome to this demonstration video for Recorders Dance and Sing, a series of piece-specific tutorials for foundation, lower intermediate and upper intermediate players. My name is Mary Tyers and I love to teach enthusiastic amateur musicians. The focus of this series will be to discover the music behind the dots, helping you to develop your own interpretation of the music and let your recorders dance and sing. Today's tune is a real Renaissance favourite, Kemp's Jig, by that well-known composer, Anonymous. This version of the tune has been arranged for treble recorder and is recommended for the lower intermediate player, although there is plenty in it for others to enjoy as well. The range you will need is a low A to a high C, so no really high or really low notes. The tune is in F major, so you have B flats in the key signature, and other accidental used are E flat and A flat. A PDF copy of the music can be downloaded from my website, or you can find the music in the Grade 4 recorder practice books for treble, details of which are also on my website. You'll be able to download both a clean, unmarked copy of the piece ready for your own notes and a copy marked up with the interpretive details I'm going to discuss and demonstrate. So if you haven't already done so, press pause, grab your treble recorder and a pencil, print off the scores, and then we'll get playing. See you in a few minutes. First of all, let's play it through together. I'll do this at a slightly more moderate tempo, so join in if you want to, or just listen out for the ways in which I lift the dots off the page and transform the written music into a jig that you can really imagine someone actually dancing to. Off we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now for the detective work. The title, composer, tempo markings and any other instructions regarding style tell us so much about what the composer or editor intended. From this we can begin to build our interpretation. The title, Kemp's Jig, tells us that it is a lively dance. A quick Google search for Kemp's Jig will reveal that William Kemp was a celebrity comedian and superstar of the Elizabethan stage, working alongside Shakespeare. In February and March of 1600, Kemp undertook what he would later call his 9 days' wonder, in which he Morris danced from London to Norwich, a journey which took him 9 days but spread over several weeks, often followed by cheering crowds and sometimes joined by fellow Morris dancers. The version of the tune that we are looking at originates from a set of lute books transcribed and collated by Matthew Holmes between approximately 1580 and 1605. So it is contemporary with, and no doubt celebrates, Kemp's original feat. If you have the marked up version of the score in front of you, you will see that I have put rehearsal letters at the beginning of the various sections. Understanding the structure of any piece of music is an immense help when developing an interpretation. It's also very useful for organising your practice. Kemp's Jig uses a favourite form or structure of the Renaissance, an early version of theme and variation. Bars 1 to 4 are section 1, and bars 7 to 8 are a variation on this, So I've marked it up as A1. I'll show you what I mean. Section A. And its variation A1. Section B continues at bar 9 with its variation from bar 17 to the end. I'll just play that as well. And its variation. Next, we want to highlight any sections which are technically difficult and will need some extra practice to play clearly and up to speed. My rule of thumb is to play a new piece through about 3 times and then mark up any bars which remain a technical problem. My strategy is to put an asterisk or star at the beginning of the section and a square bracket at the end so that any purple passages are clear to see. So press pause and give it a go if you want to, or just keep watching. I would not be at all surprised if bar 12 was a little difficult initially. I'll just pick it up in bar 11. And of course, bars 19 and 20 may also need some extra work, although bar 20 is the same as bar 12. I'll pick it up at 19. You may have different bars which cause you problems. Mark them up in the same way, and I'll be suggesting some effective ways of practicing problem bars later in the video. So we have identified period, style, structure, and tricky technical passages. Now the fun part can really begin. Developing an interpretation which will communicate what we have discovered and is exciting to play. Our first focus will be to develop articulation patterns which make the notes dance or jig off the page. Then we will look at ways to tackle any fingering problems. And finally, we will reassemble the whole piece and enjoy playing it with style, flair, and toes a-tapping because they want to join in the jig. So let's get started with the detail. To make the music dance, I will want to play some notes full length and others detached, what I call weighted and lifted, imitating the rise and fall of imaginary dance steps. In folk or country-style dances, beat 1 is nearly always important and therefore weighted, that is, played full length and with a little more breath weighting behind the note. In a lively dance like a jig, notes towards the end of the bar are often lifted, that is, played detached with light articulation and weighted breath. I'll just demonstrate that by playing section A. Once I know a tune well and want to develop my interpretation, I find it really useful to what I call voticulate my articulation. Yes, that is a word I have made up, but one I use a lot in my teaching. It means to vocalise or say your articulation in rhythm without worrying about the actual notes. I often do this a section at a time, trying out an articulation and experimenting with what it sounds like until I get the results I want. The basic articulations I'm using for this piece are DOR for the full length weighted with the breath notes. These are marked with a tenuto on the score. And DIP for the unweighted shorter notes, marked with a curved line above the note. I don't actually say the final T of dip, but the tongue flicks back up to stop the note. Notes with no articulation marks just use our normal lightly supported DOR articulation. Let's try that in section A, just the first 4 bars. I'll count us in slightly slower. 3, 4. Try the voticulation with me. You may feel self-conscious to start with, but voticulating does get it under the tongue in the same way as practising rapid passage work helps get the finger work into the motor memory. We'll just take the first 4 bars. Just try saying it with me. Ready? And. Do, do, dip, dip, do, do, dit, dit, do, 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 do. You can repeat that if you want to. What I then do is apply it to one note. This time we'll take an F, so just try that articulation on an F. Ready? Again, just repeat it until it feels natural. Then what I do is apply it into the notes. Here we go. So do, do, dit, dit, do, do, dit, dit. Off we go. And we can do the same with section B. First of all, we'll voticulate it. So section B. Do, dit, do, dit, do, diddle, do. Do, dit, do, dit, do, diddle, do. Dit, do, do, do. Dit, do, diddle, do. Dit, do, 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 do. Again, just press pause and try that if you want to again. Otherwise, we'll just apply it straight onto one note. This time I'll take an A, pinched A. Okay, here we go. Your interpretation can also often be developed by choreographing parts of them in your imagination. The effective weighting and unweighting of notes will really work if you can imagine the movements. For example, in section A, I might imagine these dance movements. Just take it through. So you might go step and skip, skip, step and skip, skip, step and step and step. Apply that into the music using the weight of the body to help weight the notes. And in section B, you can always imagine one partner going step, skip, step, skip, step, replied by the other partner, step, skip, step, skip, step. Then they might join hands and process around, dum ba da dee da dum ba da dum bum ba, and back to your place. You can have fun trying that out. It certainly helps to feel the weight of the notes if you feel where you would put the weight down in a dance step. Now to the variations A1 and B1. For the quavers, I might well use a diddle-diddle articulation, which provides a flowing, faster style. Just try saying that with me. Diddle-diddle-do, diddle-diddle-do, diddle-diddle-do. You could also just use your ordinary articulation, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. Have a little go and see which one feels most comfortable for you. Then, voticulate it, apply it into the rhythm of the notes. We'll take an F for section A1. Try the diddles. So just saying that, diddle diddle do dit, diddle diddle do dit, do do diddle diddle do. Try it with the actual notes. Then, of course, we can apply exactly the same to section B. Section B1. Just try saying it first. Ready? And. Do dit diddle do diddle diddle do dit diddle do diddle do. I'll tackle the tonguing at the end with dotted quavers in just a few moments. Try that on an A. Add in the notes. If you're wondering whether all this attention to detail is worthwhile, here's a version of the A parts as written on the page, but only using our do or do articulation. It might sound something like this. Which is exactly what is on the page, but to my ears doesn't sound much like a jig. There could easily be more than one interpretation of the detail, but you can experiment with yourself, and so long as it evokes an Elizabethan style jig, your articulation will be valid. Now to those slightly tricky dexterity bars. They might have sorted themselves out because you've played them several times by now, but in case not, let's first of all look at bar 12. We'll just play it through up to tempo. Ready? If you're still having problems with that, it's probably the F to E flat. That is a difficult fingering on a recorder. You've got to think about the rising fingers being laid up rather than the other fingers being laid down. So think of left 2. Just drop the tempo slightly, and as you swap from F to E flat, put your focus onto left 2 and see if that helps. If that's helped with that, the E flat to D, of course, you're rising left 3 and right 1. So you just want to put your focus onto those. Try that again. A little bit faster, and faster again. See if you can put it into the phrase. Starting at bar 11. Keep blowing through the notes as well. Now let's have a look at bar 19. First of all, check that you've got the right A flat fingering. That's left 2, 3, right 1, 2, 3. No top finger and no thumb. It's a fingering quite often people learn incorrectly to start off with. Just start with the G, A flat, B flat in the second half of bar 19. And I always put what I call a pivot note, one more note on the other side of it so that you know what you're coming out of. So one more time from the G. Put it into the start of bar 19. There is quite a lot of fingers to get down from the G to the A flat. Just finger it a couple of times. Then the A flat to the B flat has the problem of getting the thumb into the right place and top finger on. Just try that one more time. Put it into context, we'll go back to the start of B1. And don't be surprised if it takes a little while to get bar 19 and 20 together. I know 20 is the same as 12, but putting two difficult bars together takes quite a bit of extra work sometimes. The dotted rhythms in bar 21 and 22. If you want to try a different articulation to get them very crisply articulated, you could try do-do-ru-do, do-do-ru, do-do-ru. Let's just try that. Ready? And. Go back to the start of bar 21 and see how that fits under the fingers. Ready? And. If that's coming cleanly, then to keep the dots in, but you can also play it straight. It's better than having that area smudge. It won't make a big difference to the overall interpretation. So if you prefer to do it straight quavers, that will work fine as well. Now we can reassemble the whole piece and really enjoy playing it with style, flair and toes a tapping. Have a go, and then, even if it isn't exactly how you want it to be, you will know which bits need further practice. Off we go. Not quite at a full performance speed, just below, but I hope you can really enjoy it. And. I hope you have enjoyed this demonstration tutorial on Kemp's jig, and that you might be interested in finding out more about the Recorders Dance and Sing series. A full description of the 3 levels, Foundation, Lower Intermediate and Upper Intermediate, are on my website. Each level will include music for both F and C instruments, that is for treble, descant and tenor recorders. A typical session will last approximately 20 to 30 minutes. Unmarked and marked up copies of the music come as part of the package, and where appropriate, further supporting practice material may also be made available. A huge thanks to Hugh Gorton, editor of the Recorder practice books, from which all the tunes and studies in this series will be taken. A link to his website is on my website and at the end of this video. Thanks also to Alex Goulding, who has come on board to do the video editing, including handling the various images and musical examples. Full details of how to get hold of the tutorials, together with sound bites from the pieces featured, can be found on my website. I look forward to seeing you again in the future. Happy tootling!